Funda Nenja is a one welfare non-profit organization situated in the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands in South Africa. The local language is isiZulu, and Funda Nenja, loosely translated, means learning with the dog. Funda Nenja was started in 2009 by our founder, Adrian Olivier. Adrian has had a lifelong passion for dogs and dog training and is convinced that the best way to drive change is by teaching children through action learning. Drawing on a wealth of experience in dog training, Adrian started with just 6 children attending the first classes held in the local rural community of Mpopomeni. Her goal was to teach children that all pets are sentient beings, and to guide children in teaching their domestic pets, primarily dogs, with compassion, empathy, kindness, and patience. But let's first understand a bit of background as to why this has been necessary, including the context of where we are situated, local beliefs and cultures, and generally accepted ways in which domestic pets were treated. Mpopomeni Township is situated approximately 15 kilometers outside Howick in the KZN Midlands, South Africa. The ever-rising unemployment rate in South Africa is affecting all communities and has a direct negative impact on communities' abilities to provide for their domestic animals. The situation is compounded by the reality that they have no access to veterinary care or any animal welfare support. The nearest SPCA is situated in Howick, 15 kilometers away, which provides a responsive support if they are called to assist with an injured or seriously ill domestic pet. Funda Nenja offers a proactive support structure and work together with the local SPCA in the event of those emergencies. Historically, the pets in the semi-rural communities have not been considered important and are not included as part of the family. More often than not, they were left to fend for themselves. Telling people what to do and how to do it seldom brings about meaningful or sustainable change. Similarly, judging, criticizing, and punishing is not effective in encouraging behavior or attitude change. In fact, it has the opposite effect. Funda Nenja uses a holistic approach to drive change through building relationships, working with the community, and demonstrating that we recognize their own personal needs, not just those of their dogs. We recognize that it is unrealistic to expect people to provide for their animals if they do not have sufficient resources to care for themselves or their families. This is what has driven our One Welfare approach. Scenes like this are a sad reality of our impoverished communities. These situations occur as a result of a combination of factors: genuine ignorance, cultural beliefs, lack of income and resources, and no access to animal welfare support. But it doesn't have to stay this way. Happily, this is now the reality in the Funda Nenja community in Mpopomeni. Happy, healthy dogs and children enjoying life together. So how have we achieved this positive result? Over the past 16 years, the children attending our Funda Nenja dog school have learned new skills in engaging with their dogs. Historically, dogs were not treated as part of the family. They did not enjoy any of the 5 freedoms that they are entitled to. Dogs are traditionally kept outside with no shelter, very little food, no medical care, and no positive interaction or relationships with people. Through our dog training classes, the children have learned that their dogs can be, and now very often is, their best friend. Our One Welfare approach focuses on both animals and people. This is done through Nomondi, our Animal Welfare Education Officer, and Zintle, our social auxiliary worker, who work hand in hand with each other, visiting the families of the children who attend our dog school. The home visits have been a significant contributing factor to the success of Funda Nenja. Feedback is received from the children, their families, their guardians, and the general community is that the home visits make them feel seen, heard, cared for, and supported. The purpose of the home visits is to understand any challenges that the children or their families may experience, both with regards to them animals or themselves. We identify needs and find the best practical ways in which we can then help them overcome their challenges. The dog school provides the portal for us to build relationships with the community. The children have fun, learn, and eagerly return month after month, year after year, in order to protect children's rights In order to protect the children's rights and comply with legislation, it is critical that we also engage directly with the parents or guardians to obtain consents and ensure that the adults know where their children are, what they are doing, and why. This provides us with the opportunity to find out more about the family situations, enabling our social worker to build trust relationships and identify how we can also support them. During the home visits, our animal welfare education officer does basic checks to establish the well-being of the dogs or cats that are in the home. We educate the families to reinforce the information which the children are receiving at dog school, helping them to understand the 5 freedoms. We encourage them to make positive changes to improve the quality of life for their domestic animals in whatever way possible. For example, if a dog is on a chain, we will first establish the reason for the dog being chained. In most instances, it is done because there is a risk which the owners are trying to mitigate. It is not done as an intention to be cruel or to harm their dog. This gives us an opportunity to explain and encourage the owners to change the dogs onto a running chain system, giving the dog more freedom of movement while still keeping the dog contained and safe. We guide them to provide shelter and water within reach of the chain. We follow up the home visits to monitor improvements. And once we see that the family is committed to improving the circumstances, we explore further options to provide fencing and kenneling for the dog. Our social welfare service is key to building relationships with the community members, and it is an invaluable part of our One Welfare approach. Trust has been built, and the community now refer to other family, friends, or neighbors to Funda Nenja, whether it is for their own social welfare needs or for support or assistance with their domestic animals. The Funda Nenja Dog School is the core of the organization. It lays the foundation for children to learn new skills, develop new behaviors and attitudes towards animals and towards each other. Not only do the children learn about animal welfare and dog training, but a range of life skills are developed, such as commitment, timekeeping, respect, perseverance, self-discipline, patience, and how to follow instructions and build self-confidence. Everything we do at Funda Nenja is based on force-free training and positive reinforcement. Not only is this taught as a dog training method, but it is upheld in every aspect of what we do. The children are encouraged, recognized, and rewarded at the dog school. They receive fruit and juice at every training session or event. Their parents or guardians and community are encouraged and supported to make changes with no force or coercion, and they receive positive reinforcement for committing to improving their dog's well-being through having access to our extended support services, which we will briefly discuss in a few minutes. Throughout the dog training classes, the children develop new mindsets, understanding and experiencing for themselves that dogs are sentient beings, have feelings and emotions, and are not just objects. Over time, we see deep-rooted relationships grow between the children and their dogs. Children excitedly return home and share their experiences with their families. We've had many positive conversations with the gogos, which is the Zulu word for grandmothers, who are often the primary caregivers of how their mindsets have changed. And now they not only allow the dogs to be part of the family, but actively encourage dogs to come inside their homes. In the past, this was unthinkable. The dog school operates on a similar system to child education. To ensure the safety of young puppies, we split the entry-level classes into puppy and adult according to age. In this phase, the handlers are taught how to handle their puppies gently, use collars and leads safely, understand their puppy or dog's needs for shelter, food, and water. The children are taught how to use treats appropriately for positive reinforcement, and they are taught in fun ways how to teach their puppies the basic down, sit, loose leash walking and recalls. Very low jumps, just to step over, hoops and tunnels are introduced to build puppies' confidence and create a fun environment for children. As the puppies grow older and the handlers and puppies or dogs have learned the foundations, they move into higher level classes. In the adult classes, their learning continues and new activities are introduced or the level of difficulty is increased. Handlers and dogs are assessed at the end of each month, and where criteria is met, they are promoted to higher level classes. This creates a competitive spirit amongst the children to keep returning and keep practicing because they want to be in the senior or top class. They are also motivated by the opportunity that one day they might be selected as an instructor. To reinforce the life skills, one of the promotion criteria is regular attendance. Initially, Funda Nenja relied on Adrian and her circle of dog training friends and acquaintances to be instructors teaching the children. There was a language barrier as many of the children don't speak English, and most of the dog trainers were not fluent in isiZulu. Local farmers' wives who could speak Zulu volunteered to assist with translating, and in so doing, they also simultaneously learned basic dog training skills. As the first groups of children grew up and moved into senior levels, we were able to identify those with the skills and passion to want to share their skills and knowledge with other children. Our team of instructors now fully comprises of the previous young people who've trained their own dogs, and they are now dedicated to giving back by teaching new handlers. Our instructors are either still completing their school education or have finished school and many are unemployed. They receive a small stipend for their time, helping at Funda Nenja on a Friday afternoon. Being an instructor provides these young people with the opportunity to participate in something meaningful which they are passionate about. The Funda Nenja Veterinary Clinic is the only accessible animal healthcare facility available for the Mpopomeni community. Our weekly free clinic is held every Friday afternoon during the same time as the dog school classes. With rabies, parvo, and other diseases very prevalent in South Africa, this is an essential service. We have seen great success as a result of our ongoing veterinary care and education, with most of the local community now proactively attending our clinic, bringing kittens as well as puppies, and being committed to ensuring that their puppies and dogs are vaccinated regularly and generally well looked after. In the past, the community was not aware of the benefit of sterilizing their pets or the risks and disadvantages to having unsterilized pets. This was due to the lack of animal welfare education and, more importantly, no access to the veterinary care. Our education programs, weekly clinics, and monthly sterilization program has completely changed the landscape, and we very seldom now experience resistance to any sterilization. In fact, community members approach us willingly asking for assistance with sterilization, which is provided free of charge. We require that all dogs actively participating at the dog school must be sterilized when they are of a suitable age. However, the free sterilizations are available to everybody, not just the dog school members. We reward owners for having their dogs sterilized by giving them a free bag of dog food when the dog is sterilized, and we transport their dogs and the handlers home after the procedure. Owners are encouraged to wait for their dogs to be sterilized, and they are often present in the room to learn about the procedure. Owners are given something to eat and to drink while they wait. They participate in animal welfare education activities while they are waiting. The dog school members and general community all have access to purchasing one bag of dog food a month at extremely discounted prices if their dogs are sterilized. We rely on our supporters to donate used or new items, which we then sell at a minimal cost. Our experience is that by asking for a nominal payment, the items are valued and looked after, and we don't drive a sense of an expectation of free handouts. The shop is held on a Friday afternoon at the same time as the dog training and is manned by volunteers and community assistants. Community assistants are also previous dog school handlers, willing to give back and help, but who don't have the skills or experience to be selected as instructors. These community assistants also receive a small stipend for their work. During the home visits, we often identify a need for a suitable dog house, in South Africa called a kennel. As with many of our other services, the general community has also become aware of the need to provide adequate shelter for their dogs, and they often approach us asking to purchase a kennel. As part of the ongoing animal welfare education, when a kennel is delivered to a home, the families are shown how to keep the kennel and bedding clean and are reminded to check that the inside of the kennel is dry, especially after continuous periods of rain. We assist them to identify a suitable place in their yard where the kennel has shade and protection from the elements. And our last reminders are that they must provide clean water and a fresh bowl every day. Our dog training classes are held during the school term, but stop during the school breaks. However, we continue to then offer holiday workshops, providing interactive lessons on both animal and social welfare. Adult workshops are well received and well supported, not only by the Funda Nenja families, but also the general communities. There is an ever-increasing need for our family support. This family support includes, but is not limited to, distributing donations of school shoes, socks, uniforms, or stationery, which are donated to Funda Nenja by individuals or companies. The items are distributed directly to the Funda Nenja children and also at local schools which we work with. Education and practical support is provided to help the community build sustainable ways of living through channels such as craftwork, gardening, and stokvels. Food parcels are handed to families in dire situations and where they have family members on chronic medication which needs to be supported with good nutrition. A group of mothers come together twice a week during the school term to cook and provide meals for the children to supplement the government school feeding scheme. During holidays, The mothers cook food 5 days a week for the children. Our winter warmth drive is an annual event. Every year at the beginning of winter, we provide the children and the dogs the blankets and jackets to keep warm. Children are supplied with beanies and blankets, and the dogs are all given a dog blanket and a dog jacket. These are necessities provided through the generosity of our supporters. Our instructors are our most important resource. Without them, we would not be able to offer the dog training classes. One of our priorities is to continually feed into them, not only for the benefit of their classes, but to personally grow their skills, knowledge, and self-confidence. One of the benefits that we've seen over the last 16 years is that when our young people leave school, career opportunities sometimes present themselves. Funda Nenja is a well-known organization in the KZN Midlands, and employers recognize that our team have extensive skills and knowledge in dog handling. This makes them excellent candidates for work opportunities in animal-focused businesses. As mentioned earlier, one of the ways in which we practically support the community is to provide fencing to keep their dogs safe. This is done in instances where we identify the dogs kept on change, but through education and cooperation from the owners, we see the commitment to moving their dogs onto a running chain and ensuring that their dogs have the fresh water and shelter. We then offer to fence all or part of their yard to give the dogs freedom of movement and to keep them safely inside the property. This is a quick view of our One Welfare statistics during 2024. As can be seen, we have a balanced focus on both animal welfare and social welfare in Mpopomeni. Our animal welfare focus is on both education and support, thereby embedding changed mindsets, behaviors, and improving the dog's welfare. This is why we do what we do. These are very common scenes, actually daily in our Mpopomeni community now that we are there. Education is the key to change. If we don't show them a kinder, better way, they will never question their choices or their decisions. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share our Funda Nenja story with you. We hope this inspires you to find meaningful ways to make a positive difference in your own communities. Our contact details